sunset, but the crew had a secret weapon. Rex, a 3-foot-long telepathic space lizard they had rescued from a black hole rim. Rex had a habit of eating things he shouldn't. Gruber burst into the hangar. Skip! Rex just came back from the Commodore's quarters. He has a wallet in his mouth, and the Commodore's ID card. Did Rex eat the Commodore? Pip asked, hopeful. No. But he's got the evidence, Sterling said. The trial was held in the station's main courtroom. Blood Pressure was the judge, jury, and executioner. Admit it, Parker. You stole the payroll and hid it in that lizard. I object, Pip shouted. Rex is a defense witness. He has rights. Well, he has rights. Well, a lizard with rights? Blood Pressure scoffed. Call the witness. Rex was placed on the stand. He looked at Blood Pressure and let out a low, reptilian hiss. Suddenly, he opened his mouth and spat out a charred, half-chewed canvas bag. Inside was the missing payroll wafer. See, Blood Pressure screamed. The lizard had it. They planted it on the poor, unsuspecting reptile. But Rex wasn't finished. He scurried over to Blood Pressure and began tugging at his boot. Out fell a second wallet. Major Slither's back bay. Wait a minute. Ironclads, who was visiting again, said, stepping forward. If the lizard found the payroll in the trash, and the Commodore is trying to frame his own men using Slither's marked bills, then the Commodore is the one who's been nosing around where he shouldn't. In the confusion, Rex let out a psychic burp that resonated through the room. Why me? Blood Pressure wailed as Ironclads ordered a full investigation into his trap. Why is it always me? Epilogue. The sun-drenched sands of Molly Molly. A month later, Aeolus 9 was under new though equally questionable management. Maverick Sterling sat on the deck of the Void Runner 7, reading a postcard. Dear Acting Station Commander, it read, having a wonderful time, frisking on the sun-drenched sands of Molly Molly. Can't thank you enough for the forced retirement. P. Please excuse the ink blots. My martini spilled. Fondly. Barnaby. Blood Pressure. Sterling smiled, looking at Pip, who was currently trying to fix a leaking fuel line with a piece of saltwater taffy. Hey, Skip, Pip asked. What should we do about the blocked sinks in the officers' club? Sterling leaned back and watched the pink nebula clouds swirl by. Tell them to call a plumber, Pip. We're on mission. Wowie. Wow, Pip whispered. Precisely, Sterling agreed. The Chaos of Sapphire K, a novel of nautical nonsense and tropical turmoil. Chapter 1, The Acid and the Admiral. Commodore Barnaby, Iron Stomach, Blight, was a man whose internal chemistry was roughly 80% pure bile and 20% unfulfilled ambition. He sat behind his mahogany desk on Sapphire K, a remote island outpost that the Navy had seemingly forgotten, save for the monthly shipments of paperwork and lukewarm beer. Wow, Blight muttered, staring at a requisition form. Wow. Garter belts? You've got to be joking. He looked up at his supply officer, a man who looked like he had been assembled from spare parts and old sea sponges. Lieutenant Carpenter, you are the supply officer here. If the nurses on this godforsaken rock need garter belts to keep their stockings from migrating to their ankles, you snap to it, shake a leg. Oh, you know what I mean. Blight groaned, clutching his midsection. His stomach was currently staging a coup. What a war. Everything is on my shoulders. I'm the only one keeping this base from sliding into the ocean. Carpenter leaned in, looking panicked. Sir, I just got a message from a pal of mine at Central Command. Grand Marshal Steel Gaze, Storm is arriving today on a sneak inspection. The color drained from Blight's face, leaving it a shade of gray, usually reserved for moldy hardtack. Steel Gaze Storm, coming here, today? That man doesn't just inspect, he performs a forensic audit of your soul. Do you realize what a mess this place is in? The phone rang. So what? I'm the commanding officer, not a plumber. Fix it yourself, or learn to swim in gin. He slammed the phone down and reached for a bottle of white pills. Carpenter, my stomach acid could start a diesel engine. I'm dying. I'm actually dying. Please, sir, Carpenter urged. Those pills give you terrible indigestion. Maybe you should take it easy. Please, sir, Carpenter urged take easy. Carpenter urged take easy. I don't care. I just don't care. Blight wailed. Then, a spark of treacherous genius flickered in his eyes. Wait a minute. If I were truly sick, medically incapacitated, I could appoint an acting base commander. Someone else would have to face the marshal. Someone who could take the fall for the filth, the garter belts, and the backed-up sinks. He looked at Carpenter. Not you, you ninny. I need someone the marshal already hates. Sterling. Captain Max Sterling? Carpenter gasped. But sir, with Sterling and his misfit marauders in charge, they'll turn this base into a pirate cove. They'll destroy themselves right in front of the marshal. Exactly. Blight cackled, clutching his stomach again. It's brilliant. I look sick, don't I? Terribly. Deathly ill. You look like you've been dead for 3 days, sir. Carpenter confirmed loyally. Call the medic. Quick. On the double. Blight threw himself onto a nearby cot, groaning with practiced agony. Oh, the pain. The humanity. Carpenter, I think I'm going to pass out. Catch me. Carpenter stood frozen as Blight tipped over. Thud. Sir. Carpenter whispered to the motionless body on the floor. You didn't say I should actually catch you. Chapter 2. The new commander. Captain Max Sterling was a man who viewed the Pacific Theater as a particularly long and sunny vacation. He wore his uniform with a casual disregard for regulation, usually involving a floral lei and a pair of sunglasses that were definitely not Navy issue. When he arrived at the base hospital, he found Blight wrapped in blankets, looking like a grumpy burrito. Oh, hi, Commodore, Sterling said, his voice dripping with relaxed charm. What's the word? You look like you went 12 rounds with a propeller. Oh, Sterling, Blight groaned, his voice a faint rasp. I don't know. The medics are baffled. All I know is I'm in bad shape. Raise my head a little, will you? Sterling reached down to adjust the pillow, but Carpenter shoved him aside. He asked me to do it. In the ensuing struggle for the pillow, Blight's head was bounced up and down like a basketball. Put it down. Push it down. Blight screamed. You're killing me. Gee, sorry, sir. Sterling said, not looking sorry at all. I thought you were in neutral. Blight took a deep breath, trying to remember his plan. Sterling, I'm a very sick man. The doctors don't know how long I'll be out. I'm appointing you acting base commander. Sterling froze. Me? Come on, Commodore. You must be kidding. Take a look at me. Do I look like a man who wants to sit behind a desk? I'm a saltwater skipper. I belong on the deck of the Storm Petrel. I wouldn't think of asking you to take this on without help, Blight said, hiding a smirk. I'm appointing your executive officer, Lieutenant Puddles Penhaligon, as acting executive officer of the base. Puddles, a man whose primary skill was tripping over flat surfaces, beamed. Oh boy, did you hear that, Skipper? Thanks, Commodore. You'll never regret this. I know, Blight whispered to himself. Now get out. Out. Go take command. Chapter 3. The Sultan and the Sham. 3 hours into Sterling's command, the Sapphire K base had undergone a transformation. The sinks were still backed up, but now there was a tiki bar next to them. The misfit marauders, a crew consisting of Gus, the gambler, Finnegan, the moonshiner, and several others who treated the Navy manual as a book of suggestions, were running wild. Sterling sat in Blight's chair, his feet on the desk, holding a phone. Yeah, we found the garter belts, Chief. Send them over to the nurses' quarters right away. And tell the Seabees to keep their heads down during the rifle range practice. Poodles burst in. Skipper, a message from the radar shack. We've got a high-value target arriving. It's the Emir of Al-Zahrani and his 3 daughters. They're being evacuated from a conflict zone. A sultan and 3 princesses? Sterling grinned. Now that's my kind of war. We need to make an impression. But the impression was already in jeopardy.